umbrella. I never put it out.
My name is Jaroslav, or Jara for short. I'm 45, almost 46, and I was only 12 when we switched from communist regime to democracy. Yeah, when we had the so-called Velvet Revolution of 1989. By the way, it's called velvet because of its non-violent character. It was very soft, like the fabric, yeah, velvet. Peaceful, bloodless revolution of 1989. So I remember that, but I was only 12 years old. Yeah. I have two children. My son is 16 and my daughter is 13. And I have been working as a guide since 1999. Yeah, with this little interruption, because of COVID, I had to find a job, another job for about a year and a half, which is called Malá Strana, Little Quarter. There we get off the bus and we walk through this picturesque part of the city called Little Quarter, Malá Strana in Czech. Then we cross the oldest bridge in Prague, Charles Bridge, which dates back to the 14th century. And then we walk through a little bit of the Jewish quarter to finish the tour in the Old Town Square, and the famous astronomical clock in the Old Town Square. That's the plan for the morning city tour. So once again, welcome to Prague, welcome to the Czech Republic. By the way, here to our right, you can see this yellow building, with the green awnings. This is the train station named after the first president of Czechoslovakia, Tomáš Garrigue Masaryk. A Masaryk train station. He was our president from 1918 till 1935, and his wife was American. They got married in Brooklyn. She was from Brooklyn. And he was friend of Woodrow Wilson, who helped to form Czechoslovakia. So the main train station in Prague is called Wilson Station, after US President Woodrow Wilson. Yeah, the main train station is a little bit further to our right, we don't see it now. Yeah, but further to our right is the main train station. But near the hotel, the yellow building that I was trying to show you, is the one named after the first president of Czechoslovakia, Tomáš Garrigue Masaryk. So Czechoslovakia was founded only at the end of World War I in 1918. Before that, we were part of the Austro-Hungarian monarchy. The Austrian Habsburgs were in power in what is now the Czech Republic from 1526 till 1918. So we were almost 400 years under the Austrian Habsburgs. And only at the end of World War I, the independent Republic of Czechoslovakia was founded. Then we had 2 decades of democracy, 20 years of economic prosperity. But this was all stopped by Nazi Germany. Hitler took over. 6 years of Nazi occupation, tragic period in our history, especially for the local Jews, because 2/3, 80,000 of Czech Jews perished in the Nazi concentration camps. But the city of Prague survived the Second World War without major damage. So all the sites we will see today are original, a little damage compared to other European cities. Then we became one of the Eastern Bloc countries, one of the satellite countries of the Soviet Union. The communists were in power until the Velvet Revolution of 1989 that I briefly mentioned already. Then we regained democracy, and shortly after that Czechoslovakia was divided. So since January 1st, 1993, there's just the Czech Republic and Slovakia, 2 countries now. Czech Republic is a country of 11 million people. Capital city is Prague with 1.3 million. Now ahead of us, to our right as we turn, you will see the Hilton Hotel, which is the largest hotel in the city center. It has nearly 800 rooms, and this is where the US presidents usually stay. Already Bill Clinton in 1994, then George W. Bush, and even Barack Obama. They all stayed at the Hilton Hotel, which you can see to our right. It's a freestanding building, so for security reasons, they choose this hotel. It's easy to guard, it's easy to watch. Yeah, so this big hotel to our right, the Hilton Hotel, built just around the Velvet Revolution. Yeah, they started the construction before 1989 and it was completed after the changes, shortly after the Velvet Revolution, the early 1990s. The grey building to the left is Ministry of Agriculture, and it was built between 1928 and 1932. It was built for this newly established Republic of Czechoslovakia, which was founded at the end of World War I in 1918 as Ministry of Agriculture, and it still serves its original purpose. Now we cross the Vltava River. You can see lots of water, in the river. To the right are the locks, and to the left you can see the castle. On the top of the hill is Prague Castle with the St. Vitus Cathedral. Notice also the green building with the green dome to our left on the tip of this island. This is a small hydropower plant from 1913. It was built shortly before World War I, the hydropower plant. And here we are on an island. On both sides of the street you can see trees. Now there's a public park on this island, and soon we'll get to the second part of the Vltava River. And there was lots of rain, also the snow is melting, so there's lots of water in the river. You can see it's also pretty dirty, it's pretty brown now. So you can see to the left even the small dam, overflow type dam to our left. They make electricity on this drop. Yeah, there's the hydropower plant at the end of the little dam that you can see to the left. And also you can see to the left in the distance Prague Castle, with the St. Vitus Cathedral. So once again the name of the river is Vltava, V-L-T-A-V-A, Vltava. The German name, or perhaps international name, is Moldau, but Czechs call it Vltava. It is the longest river in the Czech Republic. And now as we turn to our right, you are about to see this television tower, TV tower, which looks like a spaceship, like a rocket that is going to launch any moment now. Yeah, so look to our right, please. And can you see the tower? Yeah, can you see it now? That looks like a spaceship. It was built shortly before the Velvet Revolution of 1989. Back then, they perhaps believed that every communist capital should have a modern television tower to show how advanced we are. That we are not behind the capitalists. We also have a television. We are modern people too. So they were building these modern looking television towers like the one in East Berlin. Yeah, so even here in Prague they built one, as I said, shortly before the Velvet Revolution. And even a one-room hotel. Yeah, so the people who, for example, honeymoon in Prague, yeah, the newlyweds, they stay there with this nice view of Prague, yeah, one-room hotel. Yeah, so you can see to the left, it's actually hiding now behind the Hilton Hotel that I was talking about, but as soon as we move a little bit further, you will see the whole tower. So the lowest level is the restaurant, the one above it is the one-room hotel, and then some equipment for the antennas. Early 30s, as Ministry of Czechoslovak Railways. The railways now are not as big, not as important as they were back then. When it was built, it was making enough electricity to cover the city of Prague. Even though it's now 3 times more efficient, it makes enough electricity to cover the illumination of the streets of Prague when it's running at its full speed. Yeah, so we need way more of electricity now. Yeah, that's why. Now look to the left, the big boat, the red white boat, that's a boatel. Hotel on a boat, they call it a boatel. About 50 years ago, there was a shortage of accommodation in Prague. There were not enough of hotels in the city. So they decided to build 3 of these boats as a temporary solution. And they are still here. They still serve its original purpose. So one can stay on one of these boatels. Yeah, so you can see to the left this red-white boat. It serves as a boatel. And then notice to our left the big building coming to our left with the green roof again, glass dome. This is the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Again, it was built between World War I and World War II as Ministry of Trade and Industry. Like now they call it Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Then to our left you can see the church with the 2 black steeples. This is the Church of Our Lady. We will get a better view of the church later when we finish the tour in the Old Town Square, because the church is facing the square. So many of you probably saw it already last night. because as far as I know, you already went to the old town square where the astronomical clock is. Yeah, so you can see to the left the church with the two black steeples, which was built more than 500 years ago. Roman Catholic church, still used for services. Also notice to our left, the yellow building here, this is a hospital, the oldest hospital in Prague. The building, as you see it now, dates back to the 1950s, 1920s, but there was a hospital in this place already in the 14th century. Yeah, so that's why the oldest hospital in Prague. You can see one of the ambulances in front of the hotel. in front of the hospital, I mean. Also notice to the left the two hotels. Yeah, you can see the Hotel President and then the Intercontinental Hotel, which is going through major reconstruction, restoration and remodeling. Both of them were built during communism. You can tell they did not have a very good taste for architecture. In the 70s, the architecture was not the greatest anywhere around the world, pretty much, and especially here in communist Czechoslovakia. So the Intercontinental Hotel that we see to our left opened in 1974, almost 50 years ago, and it's now going through major remodeling, restoration, reconstruction. But they will keep the outside the way it was, so it looks the same as it looked when it was built in 1974. Then here to the left you can see the shortest bridge in Prague. This green bridge has only 3 arches. The river is quite narrow here, so it's the shortest bridge, and it dates back to 1908, when the Jewish quarter was rebuilt, and the Jewish quarter is on the other side of the Vltava River, behind the Intercontinental Hotel in that area. So when the Jewish quarter was rebuilt, they also built the bridge. So look to the left, you can see an extension of the bridge. It's a street leading directly to the old town square. The big building to the left with the skylight, with the glass roof to our left, is the law school of Charles University. Yeah, the big building to the left. The second bridge from here to our left is Charles Bridge, the only bridge in the city until 1841, and it dates back to the 14th century. Yeah, it's pretty old. It dates back to the 1300s, and it was the only bridge in Prague until 1841, when a second bridge was built. Today, there are 18 bridges in Prague, and they are building 2 more, so soon we will have 20 bridges, spanning the Vltava River in Prague. But until 1841, the only bridge, Charles Bridge. Here to the left, you can see the seat of the government, and as you can see, there's some kind of a demonstration taking place in front of the building. You can see lots of people with Czech flags. There, this is the Czech flag, the red, white, blue. So this is the seat of the government, the building to our left. This is where the office of the Prime Minister is. Yeah, this is where the members of the government meet for their regular meetings. Yes, we shall be able to stop here, and this is where we get off the coach and start walking part of the tour.